Hello, friends. Welcome inside, at least for me, Ben Garrett, the Riverland Roofing Studios. The little house up top. Riverland Roofing for all your roofing needs. 662-644-4297. Riverland Roofing for all your roofing needs. One of the proud sponsors of us here on Talk of Champions. That's Zach Berry at Zach_Berry on Twitter. I'm Ben Garrett at Spirit Ben. This QR code right here is for the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. For new members, you can sign up today for the low price of $30 for a year. $30 for a year. That comes up to $249 a month. It's the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. Limited time, though. So many of you have responded, man. It's been awesome. Y'all ask us all the time when you approach us in the street, Ben, Brad, Zach, how can we help you guys? Right here. Join at the Ole Miss Spirit. Scan the QR code. We'd love to have you. This is what we do all day, every day. Talk Ole Miss sports at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. Hey, Zach, what's up?
Another thing you can do is you can go to Roback and you can use Grove 20 and get 20% off.
Sure.
You can get one of these bad boys right here. They've got tons of options, so you can also help us out that way. Go check out roback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. What's up, Ben? How we doing?
Living the dream, man. What's going on in your space on this Thursday, August 13th, 2026, just days away from Ben Garrett turning 40, the big 4-0. I know y'all are excited. That's what we're here to talk about. That.
Yeah.
Ben turning 40. Mary's in the chat. She says, get the Ole Miss Spirit today. She's not wrong. OleMissSpirit.com. QR code right here. $30 for the year. It's a limited time offer, so we want you to join with us. At Too Tall Paul 94 is in the chat. Says, afternoon, fellas. He also made a comp of Trinidad being Drew Brees with Kyler Murray's athleticism. I'll have what he's having. The only thing at James Mendoza 4789, only thing I worry about with Trinidad is batted balls. That's going to always be a problem. He's not quite, if he's 6 foot, he's just quite 6 foot. But welcome to all of you who are in the chat. At Dakota Kings in the chat, they started the Twitter live stream wondering why this one ain't started. What?
I don't know.
I don't either. Thanks, Dakota. Appreciate you all joining us. What's going on in your world today, man, in the world of Ole Miss sports, athletics, all that good stuff?
Man, just, little admin day, dealing with some, getting some things squared away as we've got football coming up. Got Brentwood Academy at Baylor School next Thursday on ESPN. And, of course, we've got Ole Miss Louisville coming up to kick off Ole Miss's season. Got all of my P's and Q's squared away. We'll be there for both of those, obviously just down the road for me for Ole Miss Louisville. And then a quick little easy drive up to Chattanooga for Keegan Croucher versus Cruz Jenkins. It'll be a hell of a game. But yeah, just like everybody else, Ben, just trying to beat this heat and get ready for football as we've gotten into the period of the off season where I just watch football, just old games, just all day.
You lunatic.
Just right now, I've got I think this is a 2014 compilation. Yeah. These people on YouTube that just do the Lord's work and just put together these 3-hour videos of just some of the best games from over the years. It's great stuff. But yeah, I just did I wouldn't say it's too lengthy, but did a piece on Trinidad Chambliss and his eerily reminiscent 2025 to another former Ole Miss quarterback. You can go read that at the Ole Miss Spirit. We've got fall camp stuff up. Got a lot going on at the site right now. Like Ben said, join us. It's $2.49 a month. It's pretty damn good. Cheaper than a gallon of gas. If there's a lot of stuff cheaper than a gallon of gas right now, but
I'm about to say,
we got a lot going on. Fall camp's been interesting. You've been there. I've talked to folks that have been there, been around the program. I'll ask you this. The one word that I keep hearing is focused. I think this is a group that is very national championship conversation after a coming up one place short last year. But for you, would that be something that you would echo? Focus, it's like an older bunch. It's a group, whether they were there last year or not. We've talked about the transfers coming in and how experienced they are. That's a good buzzword for me. What about you?
That's a good buzzword. One thing I've taken away from this entire camp is and it's been like this since last November. And I don't know if it's going to be sustainable, how many games they're going to win, this, that, and the other. We're about to knock out a stock report just based on what we've heard from almost fall camp and get into all of that. But one thing that has really jumped out to me is the shocking normalcy everywhere. The competency and normalcy and it just Ole Miss hasn't changed in terms of its operation, its big time operation, how it goes about its day to day. The only thing that's changed is the guy in the main CEO chair, and he wants all of the attention placed on the players and the program itself and not himself. And again, I'm not knocking that approach for anyone else. I'm just saying I thought it'd be a bigger change in terms of stylistically how they went about their thing, and it hasn't been that way. And if anything, I've been really impressed with Paul Constantine, the work he did in the offseason to making this team bigger. Man, you can see it. And of course, bigger, faster, and stronger is the cliche joke that we all always make during the offseason. Sure. This is bigger, faster, and stronger season, understanding that. But having covered this team in these players under Nick Savage for 5 years, and now it is different. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but they look bigger, right? I mean, I don't remember Ole Miss's defensive line ever looking like this collectively in the previous 4 or 5 years. It's just they didn't have this kind of size. Now, top end, you had it, but the normalcy of that and, like you said, the business-like approach to it, it's been a really cool thing to see. Now, still closing down practice, which has been a bummer, but we've gotten to see a little bit, including plenty on Wednesday. Talked a lot about Samari Reed on yesterday's edition of Talk of Champions being a potential breakout candidate. I had a Ole Miss assistant tell me straight up he's going to be one of Ole Miss's best offensive players. He's been showing up and showing out. So obviously, as we start the stock report, I would start it there. For you were bullish on Samari coming out of high school. You're our Ole Miss recruiting guy at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com. Joined today for $249 a month. It's the best deal ever, dude. And y'all have all responded. Keep going. Join us, man. This is it right here. This is how you can help us. And you've been on the Samari Reed beat for a while. What he was, so as a player, as a recruit, what do you remember about him? And did you see a potential breakout coming from him before anybody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I wrote about him yesterday. I mentioned it in the piece. As a junior, he lit it up. He had over 1,000 yards receiving and double-digit touchdowns. And then as a senior, he kind of had to do a little bit of everything. He was kind of a gadget player on offense. They used him in a variety of ways, but the size was there. That's what jumped out to me watching him. He's obviously just bigger than everybody. There's a reason why. Clemson wanted him really bad. Ole Miss ended up landing him. That was, for me personally, there are big guys in high school, but at that position to already be 200, 205 and playing against guys, high level Florida classification football, but they're not, the corners aren't what they are in college football. And so he would just kind of dwarf everybody. But, whether it was running back, whether it was, wildcat quarterback, or whether it was wide receiver or even safety, he just made plays. Ole Miss has kind of made that I won't say a mantra, but it's something that they look for in two-way ability and guys that play both sides of the ball. I think that's a trait that the coaching staff likes, guys that stay on the field, make plays on both sides of the ball. I think that helps with athleticism. I think it just helps with ball skills, especially for someone that's a wide receiver. But yeah, you heard it from a staffer. I heard it from people because the commodities in Deuce Alexander. You know about Jonte Cook. We've heard about him a ton. We've heard a lot about Horatio Fields. And so, I would ask people, hey, is there anybody else? Is there anyone else that's standing out outside of those three? Samari Reed was a guy that kept coming up. And, it's fall camp. you don't want to crown anybody. I mean, we've seen this before, right? We've seen Braylon Brown. We've seen
Aiden Williams.
Yeah, Aiden Williams. The list goes on and on of guys that pop in fall camp and then just can't make it on the field. I do wonder. You mentioned the change in how top to bottom the Ole Miss program is very different. I mean, we all know why. It's certainly because of the change in the head coach. I do wonder if that's going to be any different because we know Lane liked to play, 3-4 guys at wide receiver, and that was about it. He didn't really branch out. I mean, he kind of did early on 2020, 2021. He really didn't have a choice. But once Ole Miss went heavy portal, the younger guys didn't get a lot of chances, and he kind of leaned on his 3-4 guys. I do wonder if that philosophy will change now that, Lane's gone. You can say what you want about, Charlie Weiss Jr. was the offensive coordinator. Well, Lane was calling the shots there. He was deciding who gets to play and who doesn't. I wonder if that's going to change with LaDamian Washington being the new wide receivers coach, and John David Baker being back as OC. So we'll see. But hey, I mean, I'd love to see Samari Reed get out there and get some touches because, I mean, physically he looks the part. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I anticipate Ole Miss being a little bit more up tempo. I think the pace is going to really pick up, and guys are going to get tired, especially early on in the season. We all know about the weather and the heat and all that. You're going to want to keep guys fresh. You're going to want to rotate. I think Samari Reed is definitely one of ththose candidates to come in and quickly kind of assert himself as maybe the fourth or fifth guy. So, those superlatives we do, after signing day are always fun to go back and look at because, he was the one that I said would, have a chance to make an impact early. I also said Caleb Cunningham would be the one to do it. We've been kind of waiting on that, here at the Ole Miss Spirit. Ole Miss will get a guy from in-state that looks the part, can do all the right things, can dominate senior year, and they just can't seem to get it together. I'm not writing off Caleb Cunningham, mind you. I'm just saying he's had some bumps in the road. He's had some nagging injuries. He's even said it. I think if he could go back and do it again, he would have enrolled early and skipped basketball, but he chose to stay and play basketball. Yeah, I mean, I think he admits it. He was a little behind when he got to campus in the summer instead of getting there in the spring. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for that fourth guy, that fifth guy, we've heard some things about Traylon Ray here and there. I think Daryl Gill is still trying to find his way a little bit. And again, I think a lot of it too is just the room is pretty deep. It's not just one guy, it's not just Deuce Alexander. I mean, I think you've got 3 legitimate dudes in Alexander, Fields, and Cook. And then after that, you're trying to, find some guys where, you're not going to get everybody on the field at the same time. You're going to have Caleb Odom out there flexed out. You're going to have Luke Haas out there. So, this isn't a New Mexico State 5 wide where you need 5 wide receivers out there at all times. So it's going to be interesting. I'm very intrigued to see what John David Baker does because, lest we forget, you can just turn around and hand it to number 5.
Yes, you can.
That solves a lot of issues offensively, but long-winded answer there, Ben. But yeah, I think Samari Reed is someone that's ready. Second-year guy. And it's not a true freshman you're asking to go out there and do something. Only played in 1 game a year ago, but I think he's ready to grab that torch and go ahead and go get some touches.
Yeah, a stock report goes both ways, stock up, stock down. So Samari Reed is stock up. I mean, stock down right now for me is Caleb Cunningham just because, one, he's still one of those guys that's limited because of injury, and durability has been one of his biggest issues for the first year plus of his career at Ole Miss. And the need. I mean, he started out so great in the spring. They have a need for somebody to emerge, and Caleb Cunningham is just not there. He's just not there. But maybe it's Samari Reed. I'm curious just in general. Stock up, stock down for you in terms of the wide receiver room. Ole Miss is replacing four of its top 5 pass catchers. All right. You think you know what you got with, let's go, Deuce Alexander, Jonte Cook, and Horatio Fields. But even with Jonte Cook and Horatio Fields, while proven guys, like, they have to do it in this space. Do I think they are? Yes. I mean, good players are good players. So as long as Horatio is healthy, I think he'll produce. As long as Jonte, like, I have no concern with Jonte. But again, you still want to see it. Louisville going to be a fascinating case study because that is a pretty tough opener, 9-game winner last year that believes itself to be a playoff team. I think Ole Miss is better. I think my early prediction is 38-24. That's where I'm at right here and now.
It's a lot of points for Louisville.
Yeah, but it's not. It's going to be like a late. It's going to be some late scoring. You know what I mean? Like Ole Miss is. I don't know.
Garbage time.
Yeah. So like even 38-17, you go, oh yeah, Ole Miss beat the shit out of them. But like, what if they score a late touchdown? Because like if you look at the depth, Ole Miss has got great depth everywhere. But like if they're running out,
I
was
going to say that's another good buzzword is depth. I think both sides of the ball, top to bottom, this is probably the deepest Ole Miss team that I can remember in my 38 years. Defensive line, just insane. I echo what you said. Probably the most physically gifted group that I've seen across the board. I mean, it's pretty funny because you'll look and you'll see like William Eccles like ripping the bag off the sled, and then you'll see, Landon Barnes, who's another guy, stock up, looks the part. You'll
Greg
see
Hardy 2.0, man. I'm telling you, dude.
Just on the field, field. Jordan Raynaud looks the part, and then the camera will pan out or it'll move, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh God, there's Jaheim Otis to stand there.
Massive human.
So I mean, just big guy. I mean, Carmelo Reed is another guy that looks humongous. Everybody knows how good that room is. Everybody knows how good Randall Joyner is. I think another stock up guy is Terez Davis. A lot of questions about the tackle position. He talked about it in the media op about his athleticism. Dad played 12 years in the NBA. People forget, like, he would come in on like short yardage and stuff and was kind of like a gadget, almost H-back. So, he was in there. If need be.
At the end of the year, wearing number 45. You're right.
Yeah. So, he can play. We talk about that a lot. Like, if anybody ever asked me about Laramie Tunsil and what made him so special, it was the feet. The guy was so nimble. And I think Terez Davis, not saying he's got Tunsil feet, but like that athleticism, that background is going to help him transition into being a guy at left tackle. And then, I can't really say enough about, you mentioned Constantine. Some of the videos I've seen, some of the weight room stuff, guys have just completely transformed. They're all big, but they still look like pups when they're freshmen. But you look at someone like John Wayne Oliver, looks completely different. He's been there a while, but Bryson Sanders somehow has gotten bigger. Another just massive human. I think the offensive line, the defense for me is number one on being slept on. I think this offensive line group is going to be better than people think. I think the continuity on the interior is big. And then I think Garrison's going to get what he needs to get out of both tackle spots, because I think Davis has taken a hold of that left tackle. And then I think Tommy Kinsler is going to step up and be the right tackle. But, there's plenty of stock up option guys here. We could go with Sharif Denson, Janelle Aguero. Take your pick.
Well, I have a couple of breakdown questions for you specifically, and you got to give some stock down, meaning what you need to see more out of. All right. So we're going to run through these really quick. Before we do, at Jeff Sessions asked Ben and Zach, are you guys concerned about the security at Vaught Hemingway Stadium on September 19th? I was told the Mississippi Guard will be helping with security. I would be shocked if the Mississippi Guard is there helping with security. No, I'm not worried about security at Vaught Hemingway on September 19th. I don't think anybody wants to kill Lane Kiffin. They just want to make sure he hears them. You know what I mean? And they will be heard. I don't throw stuff. I don't care about the physical violence stuff. That's dumb. It's silly. But you can be heard. Trust, you can be heard. You can speak it with your full chest. And
Yeah,
he texted me the other day. He's still, everyone says don't bring him up. And like, good grief, the man texted me the other day about this whole housewife shit again. God is good and like treat it that way. Like
did
multiple
you
things to
tell
be
him?
true.
Did you tell him not to take pictures with gar because that's a trash fish and nobody cares that you caught a gar?
It's not about the fish, you know that. It's not.
I mean, no, there's not going to be any security concern. I mean, it's going to be
the first trap.
It's going to be a hectic environment, but all SEC games are. All SEC games between ranked opponents, former coaches. I mean, I was at Ole Miss, Tennessee in 2021. It got a little wild at the end, but I was never in fear of my well-being. I mean, drunk college football fans are going to be drunk college football fans. It is what it is.
Just don't throw a high heel at Dole Brunson. Or not Dole Brunson. That's the freaking
Dole Jackson.
Dole Brunson's the freaking card shark. You know what I mean? Come on, dude.
Yeah,
card shark.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Honestly, I think it's gonna be fine because I think Ole Miss is gonna handily win that game. So I mean, I think if anything, it's just gonna turn into a party and everybody's gonna have a good time. But no, it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. So if I'm buying stock up, stock down on a dangerous atmosphere for September 19th, no. But will it be hilariously acrimonious? Yes. People are going to be pissed, and they get to drink in the Grove all day and come into Vaught Hemingway Stadium, and already we're going to boo the Bengal Tigers of LSU. And the reason we bring it up, Hunt Palmer, we've been doing our opponent by opponent previews here on Talk of Champions. You've seen a couple Louisville breakdowns already, a Charlotte breakdown. That one was tough, but kudos to Brad Logan. And Brad's going to be talking to Hunt Palmer of 104.5 ESPN in Louisiana to preview LSU. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming up in just a second. But wanted to knock out some more of these stock up, stock down. So your stock up on the Ole Miss offensive line in general, stock up or stock down. Deuce Knight is Ole Miss's QB2.
Yeah, I'd say stock up there for sure.
Yeah, I would say it too, because being out there, it's obvious to me, A.J. Maddox is there for depth. Walker's there for depth. Deuce is the upside play, and if a backup quarterback is forced into action, it will be Deuce. What I've been encouraged by is it seems like he's taking ownership of being the future at that position behind Trinidad, right? And while in the spring, there was some real question about whether or not he had what he needed to across the board to get it done. And that includes some physical stuff too, as a thrower, as a quarterback. I think he's starting to answer those questions. Now you got to keep going. You got to keep going. But I would say stock up on that. And that's what you need, because I remember in the spring, coming out of the spring, one of the very first things I got from talking to coaches and players and all stuff, I was like, all right, so who's next at quarterback? Is it good? Is it Deuce? Is Deuce? And like, oh, our next quarterback isn't on the roster yet. Meaning they were going to go hit the portal. Now they're still going to hit the portal or get another one. But like, if Deuce can establish himself in that way, which is, Hugh Freeze told us on this podcast, he was like, Deuce was the future at Auburn for us. If he can be that for Ole Miss, that would be, and I think so far in fall camp, and we only get a limited amount of time, but it's from conversations more than what we saw with our eyes. So you got to understand you're getting it secondhand, a lot of it, but it's from coaches and the players and all that kind of stuff. Still, I think Deuce has done what he needs to so far. So that's a big one for me. Stock up or stock down the wide receiver room. I'm kind of neutral on it, be honest with you. Like, I want to see Samari do it. Like, it's a great story. I haven't heard a lot about Cam Miller, Isaiah Spencer, other guys, vets they brought into the portal like that. Caleb Cunningham, need more out of him. So I would say, if anything, I'm not as enthusiastic today as I was going into camp, but also I hadn't really seen all that much. You know what I mean? Like, is that enthusiasm just completely skewed because we want to see Caleb Cunningham do his thing and he's not? You know what I mean? Like, I think Jonte's a dude. I talked to him at Media Day, Ole Miss Media Day, and I said, look, man, I've been talking you up on Talking Champions. He's like, oh, I know, and you're right. Like, the guy's got crazy confidence. I said, man, you've been my pick to be Ole Miss's receptions leaders this year. And he's like, yeah, then good. Then you know ball, right? And that's the kind of – so, I don't know. The wide receiver room, are you stock up or stock down on it just overall? Because you can be stock up on Samari, you know what I mean, and say Samari's doing things. But I'm just talking about the room, because that is – of a team that is loaded, in my opinion, for Bear, top to bottom. And the ESPN SP Plus rankings came out today. The last one before the season starts, and Ole Miss was 16th, which explain that to me, please. This is getting absurd, but there are legitimate questions, including who are those wide receivers and will they be as productive as last year's group? But remember, and I always add this caveat, DeJon Stribling, who's showing out with the Niners camp this already, like he's the first pick in the second round last year, and he's balling, Zach. It took him to like October to really start doing stuff at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? Like
it really wasn't until that Georgia game.
Yeah.
Where everybody was like, oh, yeah, there he is.
That's that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still stuck up on the room. I mean, I'm with you. I'm bullish on Cook. I think Deuce Alexander is going to have a crazy year. That's another guy that Constantine has done some work on. I think they said on the Freaks list on the Athletic that it was the fastest mile per hour that Constantine had seen. I think Deuce was up to like 23 miles an hour. I talked to his dad. He said that he has just lived in the weight room all summer, all spring. I think, on the topic of jersey numbers today, I think he takes a lot of pride in wearing number 1. I think he understands what it means. And I think he is, he's pretty anxious to get out there and prove himself because he got lost in the shuffle last year. I didn't understand it. I mean, you could see it in the Egg Bowl. He has the long catch and run. Kiffin comes over to him to celebrate, and he just walks right past him. I think that says a lot. I think he's going to be extremely motivated. I think he's taking ownership of that room, and I expect some big things. And if Horatio Fields is healthy, I think he's going to be a problem. He's a big body. I think he's going to, give Ole Miss an opportunity to truly be able to spread it around and force people to really honor everyone on the field. You're not going to get a lot of bracket coverage. You're not going to get a lot of doubles because, if you double Deuce, Jonte is going to be open. If you double if you double, Jonte, then, Fields is going to be open. And then, if you feel like you've got them hemmed in, you've got Caleb Odom, who is, another stock up guy that's been a name that I've heard a lot, who has really kind of, because he was a tweener last year, Ben, where it was like, is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? I think he is ready, him and Luke Haas both. And then I think another thing that is interesting about the tight end room is, you've got 2 different skill sets with those 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Odom is definitely a guy that you can move around. I think you still can flex him out, play wide receiver. Haas is going to be your normal inline guy that's going to have his hand in the dirt. But, you've been out there. I'll ask you because I have not. Have you seen much from Michael Smith? I think he's kind of one of those guys that gets forgotten, late portal edition, but another guy in that tight end room that can help at 6'4", 255. I think that's someone that you could see in the red zone pop up, with some play action, run pass option type stuff. I mean, he's capable. I mean, he played at South Carolina. He's not just some random guy that walked in off the street. So I try to remember, Brady Priestcorn, another guy, Hayden Bradley, is it time for him to step up? I mean, they've got some bodies over there. I mean, they're not, all due respect to our king, Evan Ingram. I mean, these guys are bigger than Evan was. So they're going to be physical. I think a lot of that too is by design with running the football and helping out the offensive line. But I'm anxious to see who else outside of the known commodities at tight end step up.
If Ole Miss played Louisville tomorrow, what would scare you the most?
If I'm being honest, nothing.
So you think they're going to walk them?
I think so. That doesn't mean Louisville's not good, but I think Ole Miss is a vastly superior team.
The only thing would be like I want to see the improved run defense against Isaac Brown. That's about it. Like I think that they have a quarterback question. I think this defensive line has a real opportunity to feast, but I want to see that in practice. But I'm like you. Like there's not anything that really scares me or just but there's a better word than scare. Like what is the biggest concern area? All right, here's another one.
Concern.
If Ole Miss played Louisville tomorrow, what would you feel considerably better about than you did on August 1?
I'd say offensive line.
Ditto.
I think body language, what people are saying, I think the staff is far more confident now than they were 2 months ago.
I agree. I think that if like the offense, you still took the word out of my mouth. It was going to be the offensive line for me. And one thing that really gave me more bullishness on is like we're not talking hypotheticals and theoreticals anymore. Like in the preseason, one thing we kept talking about like, okay, well, if Tommy Kinsler and Carius Kern don't work out, then Patrick Kudus, who has positional versatility, played tackle at Arkansas, can kick back out. And Pete's acknowledged it. Like I asked him in the presser, and he's like, "Yeah, Patrick, that could be an option." But
yeah,
seeing
you don't
Troy,
want to do that.
You don't want to do that. And so seeing Patrick Kudus get like a load management break the other day in practice, and the rest of the first team's the same. You had Torres at left tackle, Delano Townsend at left guard, center was Bryson, right tackle was Tommy Kinsler, right guard was Troy Everett. And Troy Everett's a guy that has complete interior versatility. So like he's the next up. And I think, and like he was a dude back in the spring that I had players saying, yeah, a lot of people talking about Carius and this dude and this dude and this dude, but like Troy Everett's going to play a lot for us. Like, and he's going to play a major role for us. Like he can be your backup center. He can be your backup to both guards. He can be your Patrick Kudus insurance if he has to kick out the tackle. But I feel more confident today, having both put eyes on it and actually seen it in the offensive line than I did on August 1. And I think that's a big deal. This is Talk of Champions. I'm Ben Garrett at Spirit Ben. He's Zach Berry at Zach_Berry. This QR code's for the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. Sign up today, $30 for a full year at the Ole Miss Spirit, but it's a limited time. The only time you can do it is like, there's only a few days left, I think, Zach. So like they got to keep, if you're going to act now, and y'all have all acted and so many of you have joined, but man, this is the best deal we run. It's awesome, and we'd love to have you at the Ole Miss Spirit. Just scan this QR code and join us, omspirit.com. That's our website. That's how you can help me, Zach, and Brad the most. All right, last one, and then we're going to roll to Brad Logan and Hunt Palmer of 104.5 ESPN to preview LSU. Brad's on hold waiting to talk to Hunt. I'm looking at him right now. But so I'm going to give you one stock you're holding until the scrimmage, or no, one stock you're holding until the scrimmage. The season starts, like the stock that you're clinging to because you know this one's going to pay out. What is it?
Ooh,
mine's not going to surprise anybody, I don't think.
So basically, you're asking for like a hot take that
like
you feel will come to fruition.
Yes, mine is. I think Caleb. I'm holding my stock in Caleb Odom. Not becoming Kyle Pitts, but like that's what it's going to look like. I think he could have the biggest jump of any offensive contributor from last year, taking a step for this year in terms of volume and impact. That's what I believe. I believe with a lack of obvious number 4 receiver right now, like we were talking about like Caleb, like he's just a tight end. No, he's a big receiver too. He's the one that's catching the most passes out there every time you go out there. So I'm holding the stock in. Caleb Odom's about to turn into a dude. He's gotten a year settled in. He's about to be a dude. What is the stock you're most holding on to? Because dang it, this one will pay out for you.
I was gonna say that Rivals comp for him was Tyler Eifert. Pretty damn good if Caleb Odom can end up being the 21st overall pick.
That's a good one. I would have never thought of Tyler Eifert. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good one. He's taller. Eifert's 6'6", but I mean Odom's still pretty big. But one that I'll say, I've already talked a good bit about the wide receiver room that I'm pretty bullish on. I think here's one, because I think it's very important if Ole Miss wants to play 16 games this year, and by playing 16 games, that means getting to the national championship.
Yes,
I think Mekhi Frazier is going to be a huge weapon for this. I think he is going to be someone that comes in and makes you pay. And Keywan Lacey comes out of the game, catches a breather. Defenses are going to say, all right, number 5's not back there anymore. He's going to be someone that's going to break off 45, 50-yard runs. And everybody's going to be like, wait, who the hell is this guy?
Wait. Oh, that's that Michigan State guy. Oh, yeah, I remember him. One of the 5 they added. No, I think he's a dude. And I love his attitude, too. I love his mindset. He could have gone any number of places. He came here and said, I wanted to be with he's fine being the number. I wanted to be with another dynamic running back. Mm-hmm. And he's the most dynamic running back in college football.
Yeah. No, I think Mekhi Frazier is going to be someone that, could run for 500, 600 yards.
This is Talk of Champions. Is Kearns at user whatever in the chat? Is Kearns not even practicing? Yes, he's practicing. I put my eyes on him multiple times. And leave my girl Mary alone. She is not a bot. She's just an Ole Miss Spirit subscriber and knows how good of a deal it is to join us for $30. William and Mary are a few of our loyals in the chat every single day, but we want all of y'all in the chat every single day and all of y'all with us at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. That is an affiliate of On3. Join us today, $30 for a full year. There's no better deal in the year. He's Zach Berry. Thanks for joining me today, man. We're going to go to Brad after the commercial break. Zach, you're the best. Give me one real quick recruiting thing to leave it on. What's the recruiting? Everybody's got to know this recruiting thing right here and now. It's what?
I think we'll go back to the well for basketball. I think there's going to be some kind of decision within the next week and a half with Duke Brennan. I think it's Ole Miss or Oklahoma. I think we've gotten to the talking terms portion of the recruitment. So I think it's a matter of which place he wants to go. I don't know the money. I don't know the actual money amount, but I know that Ole Miss has made a very compelling offer, and then we'll see what Oklahoma wants to do. But that's it. It's one or the other. It's going to be Sooners or Rebels. I think that's the guy that can change your team. I think he can make Ole Miss a much better basketball team. So that's it. Last thing before I get out of here, Ben. People have been asking. The Legal Gambling Council will return next week. We will be back.
Finally.
We'll be ready. We'll be ready to start previewing. Looking at some over-under win totals and looking ahead to Louisville and previewing the rest of the Ole Miss season. So we'll be back.
Finally.
Just get ready. We're
the Legal Gambling Council returns to Oxford, Mississippi. It only took y'all. I mean, how many months has it been? Y'all got to start doing like all-season shows occasionally. I mean, I forget it exists. And then when it comes back, it's one of my favorite things because it's Zach and some guys that, and the thing is if you love that side of it, that the most fun place to hang out, in my opinion, is with the guys, Zach and them, for the Legal Gambling Council's Hit That Line, which comes out every Thursday, but we got to start getting y'all some off-season shows. Thank you, Zach. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Life is made up of moments. We care about those moments as much as you do. We are Modern Woodmen, a fraternal financial services organization, member-owned, not stockholder-run. Since 1883, we've supported families, strengthened communities, and helped people reach their financial goals. From protection to saving to retirement planning, let us help you plan for those special moments in your life. We are Modern Woodmen of America.
Start my weekend.
Own your day on the Network for Connected Living. There's more to see. Right now, get 4 free 5G phones and 4 lines for only $35 a month with a 5-year price lock. C-Spire. Customer inspired.
Protecting homes and businesses from the whims of nature, you need more than just quality materials. You require Riverland Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, Riverland Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what Riverland Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
Hey, Rebels, your truck is here. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford presents the all-new Ram Rebel. It's Ram, the Rebel way. Send an unmistakable signal. Rebel 24/7. Ram Rebel from your friend in the car business. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford.
Come by, let's be friends. I'm Warrior Philip Hearn. Raising my family here in Mississippi, I've tried to teach my kids to help others. I learned that from my parents. And as a Mississippi lawyer, I want to help you too. If you're hurt in a traffic accident, 18-wheeler wreck, or have insurance trouble, call 601-720-3541. That's my cell. You call, I'll answer. Let's get started. Make your first call to the Hearn Law Firm today.
It is time to talk LSU football, and nobody any better than Hunt Palmer of 104.5 ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. Hunt, great meeting you in Tampa, and great to catch up here to talk a little football.
Absolutely. Right back at you, Brad. Great to catch up. They'll play eventually here. We're still going through the minutia of practice, but we'll eventually get to kick off.
You know, we were meeting a little bit in production, and we both agree that there's something that both Ole Miss and Ole Miss and LSU have in common. It's currently really hot where we're located. So that's definitely true. I'd love to talk kind of about the Tigers, about how the roster makeup, you know, Lane Kiffin coming in from Ole Miss, bringing a number of coaches with him. How is the roster right now, in your opinion, and do you think he really likes his team?
I think he does. I mean, it's a roster full of transplants. Everybody in Oxford, Mississippi is well aware of how that works, especially when you've got a coaching change. They kept some continuity on defense, but the offense is essentially fully remade outside of a couple of offensive linemen and a star tight end. I don't have a great feel for the roster because Lane Kiffin is not giving us a lot of access. That's okay. Brian Kelly gave us a ton and didn't win a lot of games, so it doesn't matter. We get about 12 minutes. We see him run through some cones, hit some dummies, and then we're out of there. So it's not as good a look as we got last year, but they certainly have some guys that are projected to be drafted high. They've got a lot of guys who've gotten some preseason recognition. There's plenty of talent. There are some question marks as well, but I think he thinks he's got a pretty good team.
Everybody's kind of talking about quarterback Sam Leavitt. So many people I know have talked about the game when Arizona State played Mississippi State. I'll push back and say, yeah, but what about all the other games to when he looked really good? He's dealing with a bit of an injury. We're seeing some highlights here via LSU social media channels. Your thoughts on Sam Leavitt, and do you think he's the guy right now for LSU?
There's no question he's the guy. We saw him a lot in the spring. He wore tennis shoes for the first couple of practices, did some handoffs and some light throwing, and then he got the pins removed from his foot with that Liz Frank surgery and didn't do anything the rest of spring. He was, we're told, cleared early in the summer. We were told he was running 21 miles an hour. He showed a video of himself on social media, windmill dunking through the goalposts. And now we've been out there for some fall camp, and it's not 11 on 11. It's not even 7 on 7, but he's fully dressed out. He's leading the team through the drills. He's jogging around drill to drill. We're obviously not seeing him evade any pass rushes or run wind sprints or anything, but by all accounts, he's healthy. He said he's healthy, and I think that's true. That surgery was around Halloween, so we're 10 months out from that about. So I think he's ready to go. How good he is, how acclimated he is to the Ole Miss offense that Lane Kiffin has now brought to LSU, we'll see. But Trinidad Chambliss seemed to pick that up pretty well with the summer in Oxford last year, so that's kind of the parallel that Lane Kiffin has drawn. He had a great supporting cast as a redshirt freshman at Arizona State. Cam Scatteraboo ran for 1,700 yards. Obviously, Jordan Tyson was a top 10 pick of the Saints. He was the number one receiver on those two teams. So that was a good supporting cast, good coaching staff, and a lesser conference in the Big 12. there are reasons to question Sam Leavitt in this offense. There are reasons to think he'll be really, really good. I tend to think he'll be a really solid SEC quarterback, and if he ascends to higher than that, I think LSU's got a chance to be a contender.
A name that Ole Miss fans and LSU fans alike remember a lot, and that's Harlan Berry at running back. Where's the running back room right now, Hunt, in regards to any type of particular modified depth chart, if you will?
So that's a rare instance where LSU has some continuity. Caden Durham's been the leading rusher on the team the last 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore. He's back as a junior, and Harlan Berry was the number 1 prep back in the country a year ago coming out of New Orleans, St. Martin's. And he's back. So you've got the 2 guys that were kind of your lead backs last year, and then you brought in 3 transfers. The leader of that group is Dylan Jones, who comes from Wisconsin. And I believe Dylan Jones is starting running back on this team. I think he is inching towards winning that job. Now, whether that means he gets 85% of the carries or 60% of the carries or 50% of the carries, I'm not sure how they'll divvy it up. But I think Jones has inched his way to the front of that. And he's not some diamond in the rough that the staff found. This is a former top 10 running back in the country by ESPN and 24/7 when he was coming out of high school. Had offers from Penn State and Michigan and like Auburn, and ended up at Wisconsin and won the starting job at Wisconsin as a sophomore. Then he got hurt 6 games in, and they weren't very good. But he comes in, he's more physical than Berry or Durham. He's got 3 inches on Durham. He's got 25 pounds on Berry. And I think he has established himself as the lead back. Durham's going to play, and Berry is certainly going to play. But I think Jones has asserted himself, and I expect to see him out there early against Clemson.
I talked to your coworker, Matt Moscona, down in Tampa, and he says that Bo Bordelon, I think I'm saying that correctly, was in a battle is the right word, but kind of Devin Harper, the transfer from Ole Miss. That's kind of what Ole Miss fans were wondering. How is Devin Harper doing in the acclimation headed over to LSU? Do you anticipate him starting or playing, and how does the offensive line set up this year?
So we got some 11 on 11 in the spring. He did give us a lot of spring access. That was a welcome surprise for us. And we saw a lot of 11 on 11. In the first 3 days, Devin Harper was the starting left guard. And then the 4th day, Bo Bordelon was the starting left guard, and Bo Bordelon was the starting left guard the rest of the days. He is a 5th-year senior. He is a legacy player. His dad was an offensive lineman at LSU who has become a very, very successful business person in New Orleans and was actually involved in LSU's coaching search, a member of that group that they put together to help go find the next coach, which, of course, ended up being Lane Kiffin. But that hasn't mean he was a guy that started. He started 1 game in 4 years, and that was a Texas Bowl where 3 offensive linemen opted out. That's the only game he started. But he's worked his way to the starting left guard position, and I expect him to be the starting left guard against Clemson. Of course, they made a big transfer portal addition at left tackle with Jordan Seaton, who's former 5-star, was at Colorado, is probably going to be a top 20 pick in the NFL draft coming up after this year. He's a really, really good left tackle. They bring back the center in Braylon Moore, who was the only good offensive lineman on the team last year, and he was hurt pretty much the entire year. He's a 3-year starter, 2 years at Virginia Tech and 1 year at LSU, so that's a solid spot for him. They went and got Alu Ba, who was going to play right guard for him. He signed with Georgia and played there for a year, transferred to Maryland and was a starter there. He's like 6'5", 330, and is really big and physical. And then at right tackle, it's a question. Weston Davis is a former 5-star recruit. He started at right tackle last year, did not have a good year at all. His redshirt freshman was beat like a drum consistently. I write a Pro Football Focus update every Sunday after the games. Some people love that metric. Some people hate it. But consistently, you're talking about a guy that was rated in the 30s, 40s, just the lowest rated offensive lineman on the team for LSU last year. Talented, had better games late in the year than he did early in the season, but they got a question at right tackle, and Devin Harper may factor in there. He was working yesterday when we went out there they were doing some sled drills. He was working as a second-team right tackle. I think he's probably the 6th guy right now, but I'm not 100% sure of that. He certainly wouldn't go in and play center if they lost Braylon Moore, but I think at either guard spot and potentially right tackle, he might be the next guy up.
This is probably not a very good question, but I have to ask it anyway. How good is Jordan Seaton? We followed that recruiting. I mean, he had a cup of coffee at Mississippi State during a visit. I don't know where all the guy visited, but it was all over the place. LSU eventually would get his signature. But how good is he, in your opinion?
He reminds me of Will Campbell, who was a top 6 pick. They are both tall and lean. Seaton's got longer arms. That was a big deal with Campbell when he got drafted in the first round, that he had short arms. And he struggled a little bit on a Super Bowl team, but as a left tackle for the Patriots. But they did some pass rush drills in the spring. It's one of those deals where he gets his hands on those guys and they just stop. And they just stop cold. Now, again, Pro Football Focus is not everybody's cup of tea, and I get that. But his Pro Football Focus run game grades were not great at Colorado. Now, Colorado had no interest in running the ball when Shedeur Sanders was there, and have not been a very physical football team in the Deion Sanders era. They got the flashy guys on the perimeter, and they don't run it a lot. So maybe that's something that he gets better at LSU with some offensive line coaching. But great pass protector, great athlete, every measurable you want, and needs to work on himself in the run game. I will tell you this, and it's something that I thought was noteworthy. He dropped about 18 to 20 pounds between the end of Colorado's season and spring football last year, which I'm not sure if that's a great thing or a not so great thing for him as far as his play goes. What I will say is it shows a commitment. Like, he obviously intentionally did that. So I have reason to believe they've got a really good left tackle, especially in the pass protection side of things.
Do you think Blake Baker has kind of stocked the cupboard a little bit on defense? You know, last year LSU kind of struggled defensively. You've got the addition of Ed Ogeron. We saw the let's just say the laced conversation on social media of Coach Ogeron is back. I think we can say, Hunt, he is back. What do you think about this defense and who jumps out at you? Obviously, the transfer, TJ Daugherty from Ole Miss at linebacker. Do you anticipate him playing a lot, and your thoughts on the defense?
Yeah, Blake Baker inherited the number 107 defense in the country. They were atrocious in Jaden Daniels' Heisman year in 2023. And I mean, you all saw it up close and personal in Oxford when nobody could stop anybody for 4.5 hours. It was just an awful defense. And over the course of 2 years, he's gotten them to number 26 in the country last year, where they finished in total defense. So he's stabilized things. They weren't great last year. They didn't do a great job defensively against Ole Miss. They didn't do a great job against Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt. They were awful in the second half against Texas A&M. They had their issues. They weren't great, but they've gotten a lot better. They've got really, really good players at a lot of levels. I mean, I think obviously Prince William Unmi-Ellens is a solid player at one edge. Whit Weeks and TJ Daugherty have both been in the top 2 in the SEC in tackles the last couple of years. So is Devon Keys, who was second last year. I don't think any of those guys are first-round picks or All-Americans, but they're high floor players at linebacker, and their secondary is immensely talented. DJ Pickett's a 6'5" corner, which you don't ever see. He was a 5-star that Corey Raymond found and brought him in. He started as a freshman last year and should be great. Other side's P.J. Woodland from the state of Mississippi, who's become a really good player for him. I think Ty Benefield is the guy that everyone's going to know by the time Halloween rolls around at LSU. He is a safety from Boise. His dad played 14 years in the CFL and a year in the NFL. He's 6'2" and was all over the place for Boise State, making tackles, interceptions, TFLs. I think he can be a first, second, third round pick, and I think he's going to be a star at LSU at safety, and Tamarcus Cooley returns. The questions on defense are this, and there are two. One, they got Woodland and Pickett on the corners, who are really good. Behind that, I don't know what they have. They've got Jakeem Jackson, who's a fourth-year college player who hasn't really played. Their fourth corner, Aiden Anning, blew his Achilles, so he's not there. And then you got some freshmen. So, they don't have any depth at corner. Their top 2 are great. After that, I'm not sure. And then we were out there when they ran an 11-man shell drill on defense briefly last week, and the top 2 defensive tackles are true freshmen. Now, they're incredibly highly heralded true freshmen. Deuce Gerald's dad played at Ole Miss. He's from Baton Rouge. His dad's from Baton Rouge, played at Ole Miss, and he has made waves since the spring. I think he's going to start. And then Richard Anderson was a 5-star and a top 15, 20 player in the country out of New Orleans, but they're freshmen, a defensive tackle. That's not, in my estimation, an ideal way to go into a season. They've got some experienced guys, Dominic McKinley and Stephon Green from Clemson and Malik Blockton from Auburn, and those guys started at Clemson and Auburn last year. And maybe the freshmen are just that good and to beat them out. But I've got my antenna up when you throw 2 true freshmen out there at defensive tackle. That does not appear to me to be a winning formula.
You look at the schedule, and you mentioned Clemson. That appears to be a really big game. Obviously, it's in Tiger Stadium. I would expect when the line finishes, LSU would be, 3 to 7 point favorite in that game. Gosh, you really take to say how important is this game. I'm going to ask you in the first game of Lane Kiffin's tenure at LSU, and you look at the schedule, which I hope everybody's sitting down for this. It's really difficult, like everybody's in the conference is. But you look at the schedule, and then obviously everybody's looking at the September 19th game against Ole Miss. I think both Ole Miss and LSU both have very difficult opponents week one. Both Ole Miss at LSU, playing Louisville and Nashville, and then Clemson for LSU and Tiger Stadium. What are you looking at that game, and kind of what are you anticipating?
Well, I'll tell you this. I know two things. It's going to be sweltering hot, and it's going to be a madhouse because this town is on fire and ready for a really good football team. And as is the case most places this time of year, LSU fans think they've got a really good football team. I don't know if Clemson does. They were not good last year. They might have gotten in based on their schedule 2 years ago in that playoff. They lost some really high draft picks, 2 really high draft picks on the defensive line, one at corner. Their quarterback's gone. They lost a couple of wide receivers. And they did not add a single top 100 transfer in the country because Dabo just doesn't do it. So you're telling me you got a team that was not very good last year, that didn't add instant impact pieces from the transfer portal, that just went and did the thing they've been doing for 20 years and went and got some 4-star recruits that are freshmen. Like, I just don't know if a first-time starter at quarterback and a roster that doesn't have a lot of transfer ads is going to be a lot better than last year. And they're coming into Tiger Stadium for a guy's first start. I ranked LSU's games in order of difficulty on my show on Tuesday, and I put Clemson at 7. It's a home game, and I don't know if they're going to be great. I think LSU's going to win that game. Now, I have sincere doubts about going to Oxford. I have sincere doubts about A&M with what they did to LSU the last 2 years in the second half, just absolutely toyed with Blake Baker in the second half of those games. Then you look at what LSU's got after the bye week. It's Alabama. It's Texas. It's at Tennessee. It's brutal at the beginning and at the end. Now, they got some winnable games in the middle. I don't know that Auburn's going to be great, and they're on the road there. They're at Kentucky. Mississippi State comes to Tiger Stadium. There's some winnable games in the middle of the schedule in October. But, yeah, the front end is brutal, and so is the back end. But that's just kind of life in the SEC. You can't really find an easy one.
9-3, don't make the playoff. What's it like in Tiger Stadium this offseason, or should I say Baton Rouge this offseason? Is Lane okay? And obviously, I think I've been very open on this podcast. I think Lane Kiffin is going to win big at LSU. I'm with you. The schedule's difficult. There are a lot of unanswered questions on the roster, but is 9-3 just okay? Get it figured out, Coach, and we'll see you next year.
I think it's there are 3 opinions that kind of matter. One is the boosters who cut the checks. How do they feel about it? I don't know. I don't cut any of those checks. No one asked, and I don't have the funds. So that's one set of circumstances. Then you got just Joe Fan, who is just watching the team. Then you got the administration. I would suggest that Joe Fan, it always depends on what it looks like. If Texas comes to the Tiger Stadium and beats you, by blocking a 38-yard field goal, well, I mean, that's you played them head up, and they're maybe top 5 team in the country. You go lose real tight at Tennessee late in the season, or A&M beach. I mean, like it's not every 9-3 is not the same. If you get blasted by Ole Miss, blasted by Alabama and Texas in your home stadium 2 weeks in a row, well, that right. Changes the way things look. But I think Joe Fan would understand that 9-3 doesn't mean the end of the Lane Kiffin era in Baton Rouge. You just restock the shelves and go back and try it again. I think the boosters who cut $40 million worth of checks may have a different way of thinking about it with expectations. And I think the administration feels like they've got a really good football coach, and they're going to let him run his race. So everybody's got a different point of view, and we'll have to see how the dust settles beyond Thanksgiving. But I don't think there will be a lot of people just absolutely appalled if LSU goes 9-3 and doesn't make the playoff. That's really close to being where you want to be.
He's Hunt Palmer, does a fantastic job on 104.5 ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. Hunt, thank you very much. We'll see you very soon. Appreciate you jumping on with us today.
Absolutely, Brad.
That is Hunt Palmer of 104.5 ESPN in Louisiana, breaking down the LSU Bengal Tigers, who roll into Oxford, Mississippi. Lane Kiffin's return on September 19th. And I wasn't lying earlier. He texted me this week. Apparently, he's still talking about this stuff, the Hohen housewife stuff. You want to see? Hold on, let me see if we can find it. Hold on, see if I can find it. Because it's kind of funny to me. It was after the Marty McGee stuff, because I saw that from y'all. And there he is, doing his thing. Doing what he does. Can't turn a hoe into a housewife. It's going to follow me, put on my gravestone. Thank you all for joining us here on Talking Champions. My thanks to Zach Berry. My thanks to Brad and to Hunt Palmer of 105.4.5 ESPN Louisiana for breaking them down. Brad will be back tomorrow with another edition of Talking Champions, 2 p.m. Central Time every weekday. That's where you can find us, Talking Champions, right here, be it on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Join us at the Ole Miss Spirit. We'd love to have you. Our best deal ever is running right now, $30. Mary got it. They don't. Mary and Will are already there. We'd love to have you at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. The best deal we've ever had running right now, $30 for a year. That comes out to $249 a month. That's like a 75% off deal. We'd love to have you come join us. It's the Ole Miss Spirit. At Go to Hell, LSU says, great show. Thank you, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Brad will be there. I might be there too. William, thank you for joining me. All y'all in the chat, y'all are what make us, or what make this show what it is. And the way it keeps growing and keeps going and keeps doing what it's doing, join us at the Ole Miss Spirit. William and Mary are there. Are you going to be there too? I'd love to have you. See you tomorrow. This has been Talking Champions, and we'll see you soon.